guys, welcome back to my channel. I probably look really different because I'm wearing one of my wigs. I love them so much. I think that you're gonna see me in, well, one, I love this wig so much, so you're probably gonna see me in this a lot, but I also think you're just gonna see me in my wigs because it's YouTube and it's fun and I just love it so much. And also I thought I'd make this video a little lighter because we're talking about kind of a heavy topic today and I wanted to wear a wig. So wearing a wig. I'm really digging it. I like clipped it back. I'll show you guys the back how I did it. I like clipped it and then I just tied my little headband around it, and I feel like having like a little thing like that to tie around when, especially when you don't have a lace front wig, like makes it look a little bit more natural. And I put concealer and I watched so many tutorials on how to properly do a wig, and so it is like locked in, it is tight. I might wear it to my niece's birthday party tonight. Just surprise the whole family. Let's get into today's video because it's kind of serious and I do want to talk to you guys about it, but I've kind of been dreading filming this video. I don't even know why. Let's get into it. So I have not filmed any kind of pregnancy video for you guys for a while, and I think I'm gonna do like a chit chat, get ready with me pregnancy update, and I think that's how I'm gonna do all my pregnancy updates, because for some reason for me it's really intimidating to sit down and film a pregnancy video. I don't know what you guys want to know, and I don't know like what you care about, and so I just want to film and get ready with me and talk to you guys, because like sitting down to do it this way just doesn't feel as authentic to me as it does to like get ready with my friends, my best friends, right, and just fill you in on my life. So I want to tell this story in a separate video because I talked about it on Instagram. You guys really wanted to see a separate video on it, so we're here and we're making a separate video. So Tim and I recently just made the decision to change doctors. We were seeing an OBGYN at a practice here in the Twin Cities area, and we had a really negative and bad experience. So she had been the doctor that I saw back in January when we decided to start trying, and she is the doctor that I've seen through my whole pregnancy so far. We went for our 16-week appointment, and one of my biggest concerns going into the appointment was the amount of weight that I had gained, and wondering if I had gained too much weight, I guess, at that point. So basically how my pregnancy started, I told you guys about it in my first trimester update, where I was really sick for the first 6 weeks, from like 6 to 12 weeks, and then I started to feel a lot better, and in about 2 weeks I was able to really eat normal food. So like the 2 weeks after I was feeling sick, so from week like 11 to week 13, I gained about 3 to 4 pounds depending on the day, like as it was later in that fourth week. And I'm the kind of person that like I never fluctuate in my weight, so I hadn't gained any weight up until that point, but I was non-stop hungry. Like I could not be satiated. I was eating pretty healthy foods, and I was just eating large quantities, and I was eating a lot, and I was like an insatiable pit. I just needed food, and more food. I was so hungry. I really felt like I was eating for two, starting around the 11-week mark. And so from 11 to 13, I gained 3 to 4 pounds. And I didn't know if that was too much, because you read that you're not supposed to gain weight in the first trimester. You're not supposed to gain much weight in the first trimester. Also, all of this, like, I'm not saying is like rule, you know, at all. This is just what I've researched and what my doctor said and blah, blah. So after that, my second trimester started, and in the second trimester, I gained about another 3 pounds. So by the time I went to my 16-week appointment, I had gained about 7 pounds. And I was not like insecure about it, and I wasn't feeling like heavy. I wasn't showing. I'm still not showing at 18.5 weeks very much. I've got a little bump. It's coming in, which I love so much, but I haven't been showing very much, and so I've just been, my boobs have gotten a lot bigger. I've gone up a full 1.5 cups in my bra size. And I definitely have just widened this way, and I can feel things shifting in my body when you get pregnant, and everything, like your organs and things starts to move, which is a really crazy thing that happens in pregnancy. But anyway, I was kind of feeling weird I just wanted to know about my weight and like what I should have gained and all that good stuff. So I wasn't really worried about it, but it was just a question that I had for the doctor. I wanted to give you guys that backstory. Along with that, I had some really kind of, I thought, basic questions about pregnancy and about what I can do or what I should do and what I shouldn't do. A lot of that had to do with working out. I wanted to ask some questions about diastasis recti and exercises to do. And I had a couple just like really like simple questions, like, can I eat deli meat if it's heated up? Should I just stay away from it altogether? And things like that. So we walk into this appointment, and our doctor comes in, and she starts just like talking to us and kind of like catching up a little bit, but it's very basic and it's very cut and dry, and she's a very kind of cut and dry doctor, so we were used to that. But it was a different kind of appointment. This was like our first kind of, not like real appointment with her, but our other appointment at 12 weeks, we got to hear the heartbeat. She was like really excited we were pregnant. So this I felt like was our first appointment where we were going to be seeing what the rest of our appointments were like with this doctor, because we were still just really getting to know her. So we're sitting there and she is, you know, sitting there and talking, and the first thing that she says is, you know, I hope you guys don't want to do a water birth because we don't do that. We're not amphibians. I thought that was a really judgmental thing to say of people who want to do water births, and I have thought about having a midwife or a doula. You guys know I'm a really spiritual person, and I really want somebody in there that I know that's going to be in there, because a lot of times the doctor or midwife you see that isn't the one that delivers you. It's like the doctor that's on call that day, and so I wanted to know somebody who was going to be in the room with us to support Tim and I through the birth, because we've never done this before, and somebody who was really compassionate and wanted to work with us on our birth plan. And so I thought it was weird that she brought that up, because we weren't talking about the birth plan at all. And I said, well, I wasn't planning to do a water birth. And she kind of cut me off and said, well, that's good, or something like that. And I was like, okay. And so then she was like, you know, people just really overthink pregnancy. You wouldn't believe the kind of questions that we get asked. Like, somebody called the nurse's hotline the other day and wanted to ask the doctors what, because she was pregnant, she wanted to know if she could use cough drops. And we had somebody else call and say that they were pregnant and they wanted to know if they could do this or this. And she basically listed like 4 examples of what she considered were dumb questions. And she said it was stupid, and she was like rolling her eyes, and she was like, people just really overthink this. And she doesn't talk like this. She's a much older woman, not much older, sorry, but like much older than me. So she's probably twice my age, I would say, like in her early 60s or late 50s. And she just kind of rolled her eyes, and I kept getting the feeling that she didn't care about us or like what we wanted and what we were looking for at all. And she just like wasn't tuned into us. She didn't ask what kind of questions we had. And at that point, both my husband and I felt really stupid asking questions. Like, I could feel it from Tim. He could definitely feel it from me, because I had a list on my phone and I closed it because I was like, I'm not going to ask her any of these questions. I'm getting kind of like anxious in my chest thinking about this or talking about it, because it was a very anxious moment for us. It felt really overwhelming, and I felt really emotional because we had been excited for this appointment for 4 weeks. We get to go back every month. We knew we were going to get to hear the heartbeat, blah blah. And so then we said, we were wondering, like, with the we want to find out the gender. We didn't know if we have to wait for 20 weeks or if we can do a blood test or something like that. I was like, we're not super anxious to know, but we want to know. We do want to know, and we're going to be out of town for 20 weeks, so we'd have to wait till 21. And she was like, no, we have to wait for the ultrasound, and we would wait for 21, blah, blah. She explained that. Why? Because they want to do it later than earlier, so they can make sure they can see everything on the baby, because it's a big anatomy ultrasound. Well, then she said, you're not doing one of those silly gender reveal parties, are you? And we hadn't even told her whether or not we were going to do it. So this is like the 4th time that I'm feeling so off put by this doctor. I don't want to say offended, because I don't get easily offended, but I'm like borderline offended at this point. And I was like, well, no, like, we just wanted it to be written down on an envelope so that we could go on a little date night. I was like, I'm not really into doing a gender reveal, but we just want to have kind of a private moment and then tell our families. And she was like, oh, good. Like, you wouldn't believe the things I've had to do. Like, I've had to call bakeries. And I mean, it was like one of the most surreal experiences. And like, thinking back to everything that she said, and Tim would have a similar but also very different story, because when we were talking about the experience later, we both remembered horrible parts, but they were so, not opposite, but just different parts. Like, I didn't remember some of the things that Tim remembered, and Tim didn't remember some of the things that I remembered, and we were just like, what just happened? So anyway, it's like kind of annoying, but we're not like gonna walk out or anything. We're in the appointment, whatever. So she's like, I've had to call bakeries, I've had to, you know, do this, blah, blah. And then finally, Tim asked his only question, which was, some of my coworkers were telling me, you know, do you know what to do if or when Abby goes into labor? And especially if it's like in the middle of the night, like, who do you call? Do you call a call number for them? Do you call the hospital? Like, do you know what that's like? So Tim asks her that along with like what are the chances you would deliver our baby, or like who delivers the baby, because we don't know any of this. We are first timers at all of this, and we're not embarrassed or ashamed of that until this appointment, right? And she's making us really feel that way. Not making us feel, nobody can make you feel a way, but we're really feeling that way with the interactions that are going on. So Tim asks her that, and she says that you know, you call the hospital and they contact them, and the on-call doctor, either from this practice or either of the other 2 practices that they're partnered with, comes, and she says, you know, like, I don't know if I would deliver your baby. Like, maybe if I'm here when she's in labor, like, I would be able to deliver. But then basically says in a nutshell, and I am paraphrasing a little bit, that she, like, just doesn't care if she delivers our baby, and also that, like, we shouldn't care who delivers our baby. It was strange. It was a strange way to say it. There was, like, no compassion in this appointment at all. So then, now we're, like, through this beginning, like, intro of the appointment, right? We haven't heard the heartbeat. We're both still sitting in the chairs. She pulls up my chart. And this is, like, the cringiest part of this whole thing to me and to my husband. So she's looking at my chart, finally, for the first time. She looks at the computer screen. And she goes... and like laughs. And then she looks at me and she goes, "You've gained some weight." What? That's what happened in my mind. I immediately went into, I know it was something I really wanted to talk to you about, because like I'm the kind of person who like really stays at my weight. I don't fluctuate very much. But like, you know, around weeks 12 to 14, I gained like 3 to 4 pounds. And then over the next couple weeks, I gained a few more. So I was up to 7, and I just didn't know if that was normal or not. And she, I don't even know how to explain this, because it was such a weird moment. And not that I don't want to get it wrong, but I just wish you guys could have just seen it. She said that, you know, it's kind of a lot. 7 pounds is kind of a lot for 16 weeks. That, you know, they really want you to gain like 5 or 6 at that point, and 8 to 10 by the time that you get to 20 weeks. So, you know, I'm like 4 weeks, that's what she said, 4 weeks ahead of the curve on my weight gain. So, you know, I should just try to cut out some extra carbs, and I should really exercise more, and I should essentially go on a diet. And my husband cuts in because he's so mortified. I can like feel it from him. And he's like, you know, you talked about the last appointment that she was really underweight before, you know, coming into the pregnancy, and she's somebody that's been, you know, like really fit her entire life. And so couldn't it be related to her body fat percentage needing to be at a certain level, or just like needing to gain a little bit more at the beginning of pregnancy? And the doctor pulls up my chart. And she's like, well, she wasn't that underweight before being pregnant. And so, you know, I mean... And Tim's just staring at her. And he gives her like one more out. Like, there was, you know, she's eating meat again. You know, she exercises every day. She's a really active person. And so isn't it just that like some people gain weight at different rates at different times, and it'll probably all even out? And the doctor's like, I mean, it might even out, but it's still something that's like really important to watch and keep our eye on. Mind you, she's talking about 7 pounds of weight gain, 7 to 8 pounds of weight gain, and that I should have gained 6. So we're like so close regardless. But the fact that like such a big deal is being made about my weight, and it was something that I went in like not knowing much about, and that she's already done so much to make us feel really weird during this appointment, that like I'm wanting to leave and just go cry. Like I'm wanting to crawl in a hole and cry. And at the beginning of getting pregnant, like at our 8-week appointment with the nurse practitioner, they had me fill out like a whole 15-minute, like 6-page survey, one of which had a huge section about, have you ever had an eating disorder? And I listed out like all of those things. I answered yes. Clearly she knows nothing about me, and that really upset me. Like there was no compassion, there was no listening. Tim and I both agreed she felt like every pregnancy was the same, every person was the same, every woman's was the same, every body is the same, and that there was like no compassion, no empathy, like nothing, no kindness or anything like that coming from her. And it was just one of my least favorite moment. Definitely my least favorite moment of being pregnant by far. And I left and I cried all day and all night. And it wasn't because I didn't feel she was calling me fat, and this isn't, I know it might seem to you guys like it's about the weight, but the lack of compassion, the lack of care for Tim and I and our baby was so off-putting and shocking to me, and I wasn't prepared for it. I was so excited for this appointment. I had gotten myself so excited, so just like worked up with anticipation, and after everything was when we got to hear the heartbeat, and I was so happy to hear the heartbeat. But I felt like the whole appointment was so tainted and so awful, and I felt made to feel so terrible about myself, and I felt like a failure, like I had been doing something wrong, and like you know, I know that she can't make me feel a way that I, you know, allow myself to feel that way, but like her lack of compassion towards us and just a general kindness just made the decision really easy. And we left and we came home, and I cried for a long time, and Tim and I talked, and we decided we were going to switch doctors. I looked up so many doctors. I got in mommy groups, my sisters-in-law, my friends. I asked everybody for recommendations. For 4 or 5 days I researched, and we decided to go with a nurse midwife. And it's a midwife clinic that delivers at hospitals, which was really important to me. They consult with OBs as well, and the OB will be there in the hospital for delivery too. And so we get to meet our doctor on Thursday. So I think you're seeing this after we will have met the midwife. So if you guys want an update on that, you can leave it in the comments below. Maybe I'll do like a video I'll do kind of like a vlog at the beginning, like we're on our way to our appointment with the midwife, and then vlog afterwards and let you guys know how it is. But I felt like it was a sign for sure with this clinic that we chose, because there were so many people that recommended going with a midwife, but there were a lot of people who recommended going with a specific clinic, which is the one we're going with, and there was a specific person like literally like not hundreds but dozens of people recommended seeing this one particular midwife, and we'll see a lot of them if we like the practice. But our first appointment is scheduled with the person that everybody recommended and said is like the greatest person ever, that she is so compassionate, so caring, that she really wants it to be your plan and your pregnancy, and that every person is different, and she listens to all of that. And like as soon as I made the appointment, my heart was just like so warm, and I felt like the weight had been lifted. And I called my other doctor immediately, the practice, had all my records transferred, and still thinking about how I want to give them feedback. I haven't given them any feedback yet and told them like why we're leaving, which is interesting because they haven't requested that either. And yeah, so that's the story of why we're switching doctors. More about it, I know that a lot of people were curious on Instagram. The poll got like 100 votes for yes, which is I think my most voted on poll ever on Instagram. And so I really wanted to film this video for you guys and give you an update, but that played a big role in why I haven't filmed anything for you guys, because I had a really off week after that. I really let that impact my energy for about a week, and then I was really busy with switching content with the Healing Her Collective. I had Kundalini yoga training, and in a week and a half I go to the beach on July 27th to August 5th, and so I just had a lot of work to get done, and so I just hadn't gotten time to like sit down and organize my thoughts to film for you. But I'm back at it, and I'm really excited to be back now and filming videos for you again. And I think I'm gonna switch up my schedule. So I was doing Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I think for right now I'm gonna do Tuesdays and Thursdays. Those are better days for me because I have so much that goes on every Monday, and Tuesdays and Thursdays are just easier because I can get more of the editing done and filming done during the week instead of having to do it on the weekend. So I'm planning to do that and upload twice a week, and then maybe sometimes do bonus videos on Saturdays or Sundays for you. But if you guys like these pregnancy updates and you want to hear more about them and all that good stuff, give this video a thumbs up and let me know in the comments how you like my wig. And I'll link the wig try on video below for you guys. I love you so much. Thank you for all the kindness and support I know that you're going to offer me on this video, and I will see you guys all in my next one. Mwah!